Okay, there we go. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Coffee and Art in the morning. I'm Dee Dee. I'm really zoomed in. Hopefully, I won't flash out too much. It gives me a nice tan when I'm not flashed out like this. But yeah, so we're going to color in the Jasmine Beckett Griffith book again. We're going to color this pirate girl. We're going to make her redhead, green eyes. So there's our pirate girl. Actually, I could almost zoom in. Well, oh, I might zoom in a little bit more when we get down to the details. We're going to do the overall first, and then maybe I'll zoom in some more. So the other two ones that we've done in this book so far have been this girl, our little green fairy girl. Oh, they'll have to pry the phone out of my dead hand, Eileen. I'll turn it off. I will turn it off. But I mean, I'm saying this is in the waiting room, Eileen. In the waiting room, we might be able to do, I might be able to do something, so we'll see. Okay. Then here's our little mermaid girl. And again, I gave her braids. She did not have braided hair. She had just flat hair, but I gave her some braids. And then we put stickles on her to make her glitter. So she's glittery. I can't wait to see how I do it either, Silver Screen, because I have no plan. This is all on the fly. And then we just use paint and some color pencil to do the waves. Painted the background black, and we painted in our own clouds. I say we, because if you're here with me, it's we. It's we people. Then I won't take my phone in. I'll leave it in the car. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think they took them last time, Eileen. I don't think they took our phones. I think they just said to turn them off. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so there we go. Those are the two that we've done. So let me go back to the pirate girl here. And I think I'm going to do a day sky, but I'm going to do clouds. So as you can see, it's got clouds all sketched in. But I could paint around those. Okay, but I'll tell you, it's going to be easier just to paint the whole sky blue and then put in your own clouds, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. And then same thing, then this is water and then sand. She's like on the beach. So I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm guessing. I try not to go look at Jasmine's paintings because I don't want to be influenced by them. I don't want to be influenced by her paintings, her color choices and all that, because I want to make them up myself. And I don't want to just copy her paintings, which, if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. She's got a few samples here, that starters on the back. Some with red eyes, yellow skin, white skin. You can see how she paints her girls. But I don't want to try to duplicate her paintings. I want to try to color them our own way. Because you know what? We're the boss of our color books. Oh, yeah, I know, Eileen. So, all right, so let me go ahead and let me just get some paint out first. Oh, I got paper clips all over here. I didn't pick up all the paper clips from our last paper clip deco. Oh, let me put these away. All right. So, here's the box I was looking for. So we're going to go ahead, and I think I'll use a pretty light blue for the sky. Let's just go with a baby blue, just a baby blue sky. Do you do freckles? Yeah, I've done freckles on some of them. I've only done 2 in this book. I haven't done freckles on them. If you want me to do freckles, let me make a note. Are you sitting over there next to Terry Trouble, Silver Screen? Silver Screen wants freckles. Okay. So I'm going to just do a baby blue sky, I think. with white clouds. I don't know if the white clouds, maybe I need to do them. Let me add just a little bit of uniform blue, a little bit of kind of a gray blue, and I'll kind of blend those two in the sky. Have a couple of shades of blue in the sky, and then we'll do the white clouds. So let me put some white paint out so you can see. It's just on my palettes are coffee lids. Yes, yes, they are cute. I do put them on some things. I actually do. Okay, then we're going to do the sand color. Sand here. Let's go with just like, this is called fawn. I'm just base coating right now, right? We'll add other details on there too. Let's put out a little bit of fawn. I'm just going to work on the background first. And then the water, I don't really want it to I don't want it to clash with, in other words, I don't want it turquoise. Do I want it just dark blue? I usually do turquoise water. I want to do something different. I'm not sure if I want to use primary blue or ultramarine. Ultramarine might be a little better. Let's see. Let me test that out. Do I want ultramarine or would I rather have Prussian blue? Prussian blue might be better. Let's see. I'm just going to put out a little test of each one of those blues and let's see which one I like better. Notes from last week. All right, let me get a brush. Get my ink out here. All right. Let me see which blue I want to use for the water. I think I'm liking that blue best for the water. Because the light blue, the other's going to be too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Prussian blue. Okay. Okay. Green blue. Yeah, I usually use green blue or teal blue, like I did over on this one. So I want it different. And I don't want a black sky this time. I want a light blue sky. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up both of the colors, and I'm just going to try to get, I'm covering up all these clouds too, because I'm going to put in my own clouds. And I don't mind going off the edge a little bit, because when I photograph it, it's going to be off the edge anyway. So I just kind of make a general line across where the line is, but I don't really worry about it being inside the line. Okay, so I'm just going to, let me go ahead and just kind of put both colors of blue, because I'm going to put white fluffy clouds, right? So I just want a couple shades of blue. So I'm using the baby blue and the uniform blue. If you have any questions, put them in caps. I know, Terry, you would. Okay, so her hair's covered this way. I'm going to have to get a smaller brush in some of these right along her face. So you can see I'm not doing it, I'm doing it kind of, what do you call it, marbly looking. I mean, it's not a flat color because I want it to be like that. I want it to look like that. And it's not watered down, it's just straight out of the jar. Modeled. Yeah, thanks, Flint Rock. Yeah. kind of mottled with the T, mottled. All right, so there we go. I'll put some white on there in a minute. All right, now I'm just going to paint the water back here. And I'm going to get in a couple little tight areas here with a smaller brush. Just getting the bulk of the paint on. Then I'll go in there with a smaller brush. And you don't have to do this with paint. You could do it with pencil, but the thing I like about doing acrylic paint on color book pages is it gives it tooth, and light colors will show up. I know I've shown this before. I'm going to show it again with this dark blue. It'll be a good example. Okay. Let me finish painting in the water here. About why paint is good as a base if you're going to do colored pencil. Now, I don't do I don't do paint on the skin. I mean, you can. You could paint or skin a color and then work on top of it. I just prefer just to do just color pencil on the skin. But everything else is, fair game as far as I'm concerned with paint. Okay, I'm going to have to get a smaller brush because I don't want to get blue on her arm here. I mean, I could cover it up, but it'll be a lot easier if I don't have to. And there's blue right there, so it kind of comes behind her like that. Let me get a smaller brush. I'm not overly careful because you can pretty much fix anything, but okay, ladies. Okay, I'll look for you, LBO, after the show. Did you follow me? Maybe that was all the twittering I heard you earlier. And we'll zoom in when I start shading with colored pencil. I just kind of want it far enough back at the start so you can see the whole picture. Okay, a little bit down here. And in the tiny, tight areas, it is better to try to find a dark blue pencil rather than trying to get, like, say, between fingers or something like that. If you're not used to painting with a small brush, it's probably best if you do use a color pencil that coordinates. Hey, Crocker 2. Okay. Now let me quickly paint. Let me clean the brush out. And do the sand. Take a sip of coffee. That girl looks like she means business. Yes, she does. Okay, and again, there's some little sand lines there. Maybe I'll put a couple shades. Let me put another shade of, I put some fawn, and let me put just a touch of Mississippi mud. A couple shades of, sand color, kind of like I did the sky, but I'm going to do it the same thing with the but it is a fun color book. I really enjoy it. And I also want to work some more in the look fashion book again soon, too. I like them all. And for those of y'all that don't know, Mary Englebright has a new book out, too. Mom got it. Has a purple cover on it. I did not buy it. The Mary Engelbright book that I have seems, the Mary Engelbright color book seems to have more detailed type pictures than the newer one that came out. So I guess it just depends on what you like to color. But I did not get the new one, although Mom did, because she'll buy anything Mary Engelbright in a heartbeat. But it has a purple cover. The first book has a red cover, and the new one, which is out in the bookstore, I saw it at my Books A Million, has a purple cover. But I gotta say this, if you go to your bookstore and look for it, they have it in the kids section. I don't know why they put the Mary Engelbright color book in the kids section when they have all these awesome color books. I'm gonna have to get the smaller brush out again. Out front in stack outs or whatever you call them, She looks like she was abandoned by her pirate friends. Maybe. I know it's fun. Uh-oh. Okay, I just picked up some blue accidentally. I got a blue blob right there. Now, I think I'm going to let that dry and pick that blob off, because if I try to, I'm just going to smear it if I do. Or it might just be another tattoo, because, she does have that tattoo right there. But I flicked some paint up on here accidentally. All right, so let me get back in here. And I do want to show you how using paint as a base, how that is beneficial when you have Prismacolor over the top, or any color pencil. It doesn't have to just be Prismacolor. That's just, what I use for the most part. Although I did show you all my pencils this morning on the other episode. This is episode 3 for Monday. I try to divide them up. I don't necessarily like to make long videos just to be making long videos, but I'll divide them up by topic or something. Like we did our Happy Mail. We did the little paperclip project. Okay, so there we go. I think I got all that. But I want to see how it looks modeled like. So I just saw the new book. Does Dee Dee know that? Yeah. Sherry posted it too on Twitter. Sherry Pink. Sherry Pink posted it too. But Mom had already alerted me, and I had seen it in the store. And for those of you color book people that like comics as well, let me show you this real quick. Let me go to my pictures. It's going to flash the camera out for just a minute, but I'll show it to you. Oh, and yes, there's my, here's my Walking Dead, where they're filming. They always put up these barriers, and they block off the street where Walking Dead is filming 3 miles from my house. Well, actually, they have more than one place where they film, but one of the places they film is like right down the street from my house. Okay, let me go over here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so these are some of the new color books out. I have the Deadpool one. Here's the Deadpool one. Oh my God. Here's the Deadpool one. And I know it's going to flash out. Let me see if I can get it back. Hang on. There's the Deadpool one. I have that one. But look, they also have Batman. They also have this Batman. Hang on, let me try to get it to focus again. And for the Walking Dead fans, they have a Walking Dead color book. Now, personally, I don't think I'd be wanting to color this. Let me get it to come back again. And it is flashing out, guys. It's like a yellow background there. Because I just took a picture. See, it's in the rack. I took a picture of it in the bookstore. So they have the Walking Dead color book. So yeah, so if you're a comic book fan, there you go. Okay, so let's see if we can get this back now. All right, that's pretty good. All right, so yeah, I'm going to hit this with the, oh wait, before we do that, let me go back over here to show you what I was talking about with the blue. So let me go ahead and darken this blue up real dark, just like it is in the water here. And let me hit this with the heat gun and this with the heat gun, and then I'll show you. And I've shown it before. Now I want to draw that blob and see if I can just pick it off a little bit. I'm going to dry this. Okay, hang on, guys. My chat froze up again. Hang on. Deadpool. That's so cool about The Walking Dead. She looks like she's saying, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Okay. All right. So there we go. Now, what I want to show you, though, is let me get some pencils here. Let me get blue. That's black. Get the dark blue. Let's start green. I know I got a dark blue in here somewhere. I just want to do a kind of a compare. Here we go. Here's indigo. That's dark blue. All right. So let's just say this is paint and you have a dark blue color. Now, again, I would never really just like dig in like this to color something. Very rarely. Sometimes I get it nice and dark in certain areas, but, you know, pretty much you're wanting to build up layers, right? So you're building up layers, building up layers, building up layers. All right. So there's the pencil. Here's the paint. Now, here's where it's beneficial to have the paint on there first. You can take a white pencil that needs to be sharpened. Now look, when I try to go over the top, and I do need to put something under here so I'm not denting the page. When I go over the top, I'm going to put hard pressure on the color pencil. Look, I'm hard pressing the color pencil. There's hard pressure, white on blue. Now watch over here. I'm barely going to touch it. Look, if I put hard pressure, I can almost get right back to white. Here's a pencil base, paint base. If you have a paint base, you can do all kinds of clouds, you can do fog, you can do mist, you can do all kinds of things that you can't do on here. Okay? So this is why I like to put paint on a lot of it. Skin, I don't usually put paint on skin. But like her hair, we're going to paint her hair. Okay? We could paint some of her clothes, but although I don't really need to because the clothes are kind of small, she's going to have a leather belt, a leather corset, and red hair. Okay, so let's start first with, let's get some red. And I'm going to go with a medium red. Maybe alizarin crimson, or maybe I want a little bit. I think I'll just go with plain red, cherry red. And then that way I can add darker shading with darker red, but I also can do lighter colors with pencil because it's got paint. Ever see that Friends episode where Phoebe and Rachel get tattoos? No, I wasn't really a big Friends person, Miss Allie. Now I have a niece who loved Friends. I think she went out to Hollywood, met some of them, and yeah. Annie's probably met some of them too out there back in the day. But no, I wasn't really a big. I was a Seinfeld gal. I'm a Seinfeld gal. I mean that shows my age, but yeah, that's where I get my big salad from. Yes, Elaine's big salad. She's a pirate. She's a pirate. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint in her hair, and red, lime green, and yellow are kind of translucent. So even if I'm not adding water, you can still see the lines through. Well, I don't know if you can. Let's put some here. So you can still see the lines through. Red, yellow, and lime green are normally translucent anyway. Okay, something's wet right there. I hope that's water. Yeah, it is. But you can do a wash, is what my point was. So I'm going to get a red hair on here, and then I'm going to do the clouds before I get too much more detail in her hair, because some of the clouds might come over into her hair a little bit accidentally or on purpose. But in this case, I think I'll try to keep them to the background. Maybe I should have put the clouds in first, so I didn't have to worry about the white getting on her hair. But we can just always paint back over it, right? Oh, I got lots of questions. Do. Yes, no soup for you. Jamie does not know that, but I won't when I watch it around me. I get anxious enough. Seinfeld's hilarious. She was scared that she only let them put one little tiny blue dot, and the people asked whether she told them it was a miniature Earth. Oh, brother, Miss Allie. Yeah, I missed that one. So we'll get there. Again, it's translucent, so I can still see her braids underneath there, which we'll use. And, you know, that's the thing about the color book lines and the grayscale, which I do not have a grayscale book, but I do have, you know, clip art books I could print out grayscale pictures, and that book that Barb sent us with the drawings, the old drawings, old master drawings that are all in black and white. Those would be good to practice grayscale too. Okay, I'm going to wait and get a littler brush right in there, and that little braid there. A couple areas that are little tiny, I'll get my littler brush in there. Hope I'm staying in camera here. I will zoom in more when we start coloring her eyes and stuff, guys. Oh, I got a little bit of blue to get in there. Hang on. Whoops. And you can sharpen all this up with a pencil. Makes me think of blue dot on the pirate's art. Yeah, the blue dot there. Yeah, that's what trigger that memory for you. All right. Again, the little curls I'll get with a smaller brush. You can probably pick that off now. And we can paint over it with white. Just put a little spot of white paint on there. Remember when we dropped the brush on old Gazbot when I was doing his portrait? And that reminds me, I need to do another YouTuber. I need to find another. I actually have a couple in mind. And they're probably not people that necessarily that you know. Some of you might know some of them. But I have a few that I'd like to eventually get done. But I have one in particular that I have in mind for the next one. But if you have a favorite YouTube artist, or it doesn't even have to be an artist, YouTuber, that, you know, we all like, I don't mind looking at them. Can't say I'm going to draw them, but, you know, it has to be someone I like too. Oh, the color name of the red is cherry red. So we've used cherry red, uniform blue, baby blue, white, fawn, and Mississippi mud. But they don't have to be, you know, you don't have to use these exact colors. I mean, you know, use what you got. All right, so let's see. Let me get the small brush here and get a couple of these hair swirls. And really, you could get this in there with a pencil on these tiny, tiny little areas of her braids. Get in there with the pencil is probably easier, or a marker, you know, the water-based markers. But that does remind me, this paper's a little thicker, but it's still, I don't want to take chances. I need to put a piece of cardstock. Let me grab it. Put something behind your page just to make sure. I recommend that for anything, no matter what you're doing. It's just best to put something behind it. You need the red? Yeah, okay. All right, so now let me put some of these away. And I want to get the white. So as you see, this is where the blue swart, the blue, I picked up the blue accidentally. My brush ran through it. ran through the white and blopped right there. But what we'll just do is we'll just take a little bit of, let me clean the brush up. We'll just take a bit of that white and just cover that up. Let that dry for a minute. All right, so I think now, let me pull my water a little closer to me. Let me get a softer, smaller brush here. I have black ink in this one still. I was inking some things yesterday, and when I ink, usually, I mean, I have my, I have my, you know, brushes from Jet Pen, but I still seem to always go back to inking, pulling my own ink out of on a brush. Okay, let's do the sky. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by putting in some clouds. Start putting them in, and then you can always kind of fluff them out with your finger, or if you want to start with a misty cloud, some misty clouds, you could start with the baby wipe, a wet, you know, a damp baby wipe with the paint on it to make it. And see, this is why I said I should have done this before the hair, but we'll just go back over the edge of it. These are going to be really far away down here. So I'm just going to get some on there. I'll go in and kind of blend them out a little bit with the baby wipe. Then we'll add some more highlights, or add it brighter on top here. Just want nice white fluffy clouds in the background. Just blend them in with my finger or baby wipe. Do them a little fluffier way back there. Just kind of scumble them in. Could even make it, have it be raining back there. Have some, and I'll just smooth that out here in a little bit. Way back there, it could be raining. Okay, now I'm gonna fix all that. I don't get too worked up. Don't get all wrapped around the axle, as they say. All right, so now I'm just gonna take my damp baby wipe and just kind of get in there, and you can always just fluff some out. You know, fluff a little bit out. And I'm going to be going over a little bit of her hair, but that's okay. I'd rather it look like it's behind her hair and have to go back over the hair than try to stop it and then have it look like it doesn't like go behind her head. Okay. So, in other words, I'd rather go like that and then just kind of wipe it back or repaint over it than make it look like it doesn't flow behind her head. I'm just making a few brighter ones. Fluffy clouds like whipped cream. Yeah, except I'm going to have some rain down here. Okay, now I'll let that dry for a minute, then I'll put in some brighter areas. And in the meantime, I'll just come in here with a little bit of, you know what, I want to fluff this up first. Let me fluff that up before I put the rain on top. on top of the rain clouds. And just kind of take my baby wipe and kind of feather them in. It's like it's raining way in the back. Just a little bit like that. And then just kind of blend it in. Okay, something like that. Now I don't want it to be looking like it's raining on that horizon because that's probably not how it would look. Not that it matters, you're the boss of your color book, but I'm just going to go ahead and fix my horizon lines. A tiny little ship way out there would be cute, wouldn't it? Again, I don't worry about going off the edge here because when I just think about I'm going to photograph it and I'm going to crop it off right there, so I don't care if it goes off the edge. But if it bothers you when you're coloring in your book to get out of the lines on the edge, then you might want to tape it off or something. But I just don't, you know, just don't worry about it. Okay, so there we go. So you can kind of see the clouds. All right, so I think that's set up enough where I can take and just add just a little bit of brighter white. If you like the rain, thanks, Silver Screen. All right, so I'm just gonna add just a little bit more brighter highlights on a few of the clouds. Like just a few more in front here, in front of those. But I want to make sure they look like they're coming behind her head. But you can see just how adding another layer of white can make a few more stand out. And maybe just a little bit more out here. I mean, there's really no wrong way to do a cloud, is there? How can you do a cloud wrong? I mean, because clouds can be anything. What will you do with the photo of this? Oh, I'll post it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a color book album, and I always forget to tell you all my sites. I just post them in the links in the description box. So if you're watching this, and I try to remember to always post my Facebook, Instagram, Ustream link, and all that in my description box when I upload this to YouTube. But on Facebook, you just have to go to Dee Dee Willingham, and you don't have to follow me to go look. I make my albums public. I have my albums. I have my Gold Rush crew. I have a portrait. I have the sketchy group portraits. My fan art. You know, famous people. I have a color book. I have my messy desk pictures. Pretty much everything I have is public. So. Yeah, but I do post these on Instagram, Twitter, and then I put it in my album as well. Okay, sip of coffee. All right, so now I think what I'm going to do, let's see if I can do this because it's tight. There's little areas. I want some of this lighter blue. I want to kind of get in the water. I want some like, I don't want waves. I just want... maybe I should do it with a baby wipe. Let's try that first. Let me try some blue with a baby wipe. Because I just want a little bit of light blue on the water. So let me get a little bit of a foggy, misty blue first, and then I'll go in with a little bit more lines. I just kind of want, just so that you can kind of tell it's moving back there, but I'm not going to do waves like we did on this one. I just kind of want it, you know, a little darker, like, you know, like maybe it's raining, right? You know, kind of misty back there. So I just want essence of water. So now I got a little bit of misty stuff going on there. Let me just kind of, I don't want it too defined. I'm getting it too defined. I don't want that. I need to water it down just a little. Paint's starting to get kind of dried out from the lights. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Just a few little water lines, so to speak. Just a little bit like that. Thanks, Ella. Yeah, there's a show on the mermaid. And the other one too, the green pixie girl. Again, I don't want any kind of wave action going on. I just want a few like little water lines like. It's probably enough. It'd be a little choppier back here but where the rain is, but okay. And I can go back in here with color pencil too. Because remember, color pencil, I showed you, color pencil goes nicely over the paint. This is white pencil over pencil. This is white pencil over paint. Neither arding only. And no packing for you. Yes, a dark, moody sea. Exactly, Carrie. All right, I'm not sure what I want to do on the sand yet. Do I just want some scruffy stuff? Do I want a little bit? Maybe I'll do that mostly with, let me just get a little bit of brown out. A little darker brown to go with the lighter brown to make it a little mottled. And maybe, though, might do more shady, kind of sandy stuff with color pencil. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's just kind of, I just kind of want to dry brush some scruffiness to it. Let's make it like a little bit of, I don't know, sandy stuff. That's probably too dark. I think I'll do this part with pencil later. Just get a little bit in here. Not anything descriptive. Just kind of again, you don't want it to look like it's all in, like, you want it to make sure it looks like it goes behind the hair. See how that looks like it doesn't right there? That's why it's better to probably do this before you put the hair in, because then you don't have to worry about, you can just color over the part where the hair was, but we're still going to paint over it either way. And I'll probably go here with some pencil and just kind of scruff it up to make it look more naturally scruffy. And add some dark and light. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it like that, because I'm going to add pencil to really scruff it up. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. All right, let me hit it with the heat gun real quick, guys. No, it's going to have white. It's going to have lighter on top. I'll show you here. Like I'll take a sand color, like a light tan. Let me find one here. Okay. And then you can come in here, because it's paint. See how I can go on top of the paint? And you could do this with a couple different colors. It doesn't have to just be one. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm talking about. We'll do this more of the background here after a while. I want to make sure I have the girl done. Spend all my time on the background, but I think you get the idea how you can go on top of it. We'll blend out the sand after a while. I'm not really worried about the sand right now. So don't worry about the sand either. There could be seashells. We could put our own seashells. We could put stickles. We could glitter it up. But first, let's get her done. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here in just a minute. Let me just go ahead and fix the edges of her hair where I went over it with the cloud. Just kind of, and I could do this also with pencil. But I want to be able to add lots of shading to her hair in a little bit. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and fix it all with paint. Okay. All right. Thank you, Didi. Teach us. Well, I don't know. I'm just showing you how I would do it, you know. I'm just showing, I mean, you know, you can do more with your fingers. You can just kind of blend in. But you don't want it to edge out on an edge. It just won't look like it's behind her. See how this one comes brown all the way around? Unless you want a glow around her. You know, we put a glow around the mermaid in the night sky. We put a glow around her in the night sky. But you notice there's no glow here, see? All right, let me hit it with the heat gun again because I don't want to drag my hand through it. Y'all seen me do that enough times. Thanks, Silver Screen. All right, now I'm going to zoom in again so we can, let me readjust everything. Autofocus, I'm really going to zoom in. Where's my thing here? Although I think this is probably going to be the best. Let me see. Something, I don't know why, just something black will make it focus quicker. Like that. Wait a minute, wait for it, wait for it. Let's see how that looks when I take this away. I don't know, you have to kind of tell me, guys, how does that look focused enough? It still looks a little off focus to me. Let's try it one more time. When you get this close in, let me get my card back. There we go. See, something about black just pulls it back in. What do y'all think? Bueller? Can y'all see? It's pretty good, isn't it? What do you think? The fan is blowing I gotta block my fan because it's blowing my camera. Hang on, let me tell the hubster. Hey, still streaming. Uh-huh. Okay. Bye. Okay, it's good. All right, so let's go ahead now, move the paint for a minute. I'll get some of the paint off my hands. Okay, so we're going to start with, let's lay out, oh no, she's going to have green eyes. Maybe I'll start with her eyes. I want a couple shades of green, a lime green, an olive green. If I get out of focus, guys, let me know, because it's hard to tell on the camera. Is that dark, dark green? Dark green. I don't know if I need that darker green. Maybe just a touch. Okay, so we're going to go with that. I need a couple of colors of peach. Is this my moon? What is this? Is this my color? Is that? It's not the color I want. I want that peach color. I want this one. And I want another peach color, a little dark, that's the same. There we go. That one, let's do, I need 2 or 3. This one's pink. That would be good for her cheeks. Let me get my sharpeners. I'll try to remember to stay in camera because I'm literally like right on top of it now, right? I mean, you can see how big see my hands. All right. And let's see, I need my white. Sharpening. How long? Well, I've been drawing eyes forever, you know, because I do portraits. I don't know if you know that, Silver Screen. I do portraits. That's what I do. Like, that's what I do for a living. If you want to say that, I do portraits, commission portraits. So I've been drawing eyes for a long time. And I've been drawing all my life. I'm just sharpening up some of the pencils. Yes, I'm going to tell you to practice. You're right. Okay, I do need to sharpen these greens, though, because they are going to be in tight little areas. Yeah, Marita took a course with Finnabear, I think is how you say it, over the weekend. And Packer Dye took a class with Mindy Lacefield workshop. Aw, thanks, Gary. All right, so I'm going to start with that because I want to start with their skin. Again, I think I got something on her face right there. And that's also, it's better to use a brush. Use a, look how big that looks here. It's better to use a brush than your hand so you don't smear it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to lay down. Oh, she needs red eye. I do need red because she's got a red hair. I'm going to need a couple shades of red. So let's see. I think I'll go with, where's my cherry? Not cherry red, but mahogany red, I think it is. I'm going to need a red. What's it called? That's terracotta, which I'll probably need some of that too. But what's it called? Is it mahogany? I think it is. Yeah, mahogany red. So I'm going to go with red and mahogany red because I want to do it in her hair and her eyebrows. Let's try it with the red. And I don't recommend you doing blacks, reds, blues, or anything like that. I think I'm going to make her eyebrows thicker too. Not too much thicker because I want her to have that attitude. But I'm going to make some more hairs on her eyes. All right, so let's go ahead and start. And again, when you, I wouldn't want to do her black eyelashes. I wouldn't want to add the black on her eyelashes right now before I got the skin done. Because then you're fighting to not drag. See, like I can't go over that red there because I put that there. You're fighting to not touch those colors. Now, it doesn't matter about her hair because her hair is paint. It's not going to pull. I'm not going to be able to pull that paint in with a pencil, unless it's wet, of course. But I think I dried it pretty well with the heat gun. And again, I try not to spend 10 hours on a color book page. I do, like to as much detail as I can here for a demo, but I'm not going to spend as much time on a color book page as I would on a portrait, right? I mean, just personally, I don't have time. So I'm just going to go over all the skin, not her eyes, not the inside of her eyes. I mean, I'm just giving a nice layer. And it's very light. I can see it, but you may not be able to really see much. Just finish your morning. Oh, well, good. Welcome back, Mel. I do like to take my time and enjoy it. And sometimes I do have to kind of rush here on stream to get one, done in a couple of parts. But it looks like she does have another tattoo on her arm. She has this tattoo here. There's a rope, and it comes down here, and there's an anchor. See it right there? Because her shoulders are bare. And she has on like one of those little white sleeved, like lacy, thin shirts that you wear under these corsets. It's almost like they probably would have considered it underwear back then. And that little curl right there, that's red too, but I'm going to wait on coloring that red so I don't have to worry about smearing it. Okay, so I'm just going to get a whole layer of pencil on her right now. And it's probably not showing up very much, but I have to put this layer on first to get things blended. And I'm going over that little blue bump there. Maybe it is just another blue dot tattoo like Allie said. Yes, we do have that breakage problem here as well. Yeah, this is probably the worst one that I've ever had happen. Right here. That. This is probably the worst Prismacolor pencil I've ever got. But love the blendability, so we suck it up. Yes, it's light peach. And right around the arm, it's not real crisp. It's, because I painted that. It's not 100. It's not like as crisp as I'm going to get with a pencil. So when I go back in there with the indigo, where'd it go? Where'd my indigo go? Where'd indigo go? There it is. I'll sharpen up those edges, right, with pencil. And you won't even be able to tell where the paint and the pencil meet. You gotta, take a gentle hand with it now. I gotta turn it just a little because I gotta get this angle. And again, I probably shouldn't be putting this pencil on yet because I'm gonna touch that with skin color and I'll be dragging that blue in there. You gotta be careful. I'm just gonna go over the whole anchor here because that's gonna be a darker color. Her hand's kind of behind her pants there. All right, so let's see. It looks like her shirt ends right under that corset there. There's her stomach. And again, I'm not really worried about getting on top of that octopus tattoo right now. I'll be doing that on top of the skin color. Just getting a nice light coat. What color? It's light peach. Light peach. Now, hopefully it shows up a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to move into just peach. I think it's just peach. Is that called just peach? Peach, blush pink. Blush pink. But I also really need a little bit light. Let's go, before we go to blush peach, let's go to just peach. Okay, let's just go to just peach. And I'm going to start doing some shading under her lip, under her nose, probably like between her eyes. And it's, guys, I got to tell you, it's very subtle. It's hard to see on camera because it's so subtle. That's why I'm zoomed in and hopefully you'll be able to see. But I'm shading, but I'm also blending it out so you can't really tell edges. Okay, I want it very soft, very soft, and it's very light coats. Very light. And again, I'm not sure how Jasmine colors the colors she uses on her girls. I don't want mine to, to be a copy of hers. That's why I try not to look at hers. Just kind of shady around. Light touch. Show and tell this pencil. This pencil? It does show up. Oh, okay, good. Okay. Along the hairline. Oops, let me move down here. And I do this much quicker than I do my portraits, because my portraits, I mean, there's just so many layers that I like to add. Subtlety of skin and lightness around the eyebrows. You know, I like to keep a nice light area around the top of the eyebrow there. A little bit around her nose. And these girls are very stylized. I mean, you know, nobody has this big of a head compared to that little bitty neck. So you gotta kind of work with that. And I'm gonna make, like I said, I'm gonna make my own eyebrows here. I'm not sure if I want her to have any eyeshadow on. Maybe I'll just put a touch of blue in her skin. That's always good. A little gray blue. Alright, so I'm going to get her collarbone. I'll shadow under her hair there. A little cleavage. How do you... I like how you do it. You like how I do it? Oh, okay. Thanks, Mel. Because her shirt's going to be white, so I'm going to use blue to highlight her shirt. And then the corset is going to, and the belt's going to be leather. I'm just going to try to remember to stay in camera. But it's not a lot of shady. It's just enough, you know. But you want to try to blend it in so it doesn't look like a line. See, look, this is what happens where I picked up the blue. I got blue on my pencil when I touched it right there where I did that outline. So, let me see, where's my, get a Ticonderoga and try to get some of that off. And when you see my table here, see all this? This is from doing this, cleaning off my pencils. So you gotta be careful that your light colors don't touch the dark ones, or you're gonna be pulling that color in. It is picking it up. Okay, thanks. Thanks, guys. I try to zoom in so you can see, but I have to try to keep focus too. I'm a good enabler. Well, I work at it, but Eileen's the master enabler. If you weren't here for the reading of the limericks. So you see, that's where her wrist is, and her hand kind of, you know, folds over there. And then her fingers down here, so that's would be darker. See how that works? But it would still be a little bit shaded there too. Okay, coming over here. And I'm doing her kind of light skinned because she's a redhead. And I think most, you know, I'm just generalizing here, but I think most redheads have pretty fair skin. Even though she's a pirate out in the open seas. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference here, here, and here from here. See, nothing's on her stomach yet. Oh, hi, Vicky, Missouri. Good to have you. Oh, honey, you're going to be hooked. Not just here, but with all of us streamers. Let's give her a little waist indentation there. I gave her a little bit of a belly button shadow. Now remember, that's a tattoo. So she's still going to have shading on her skin, even on top of a tattoo. But I'm not going to shade around the octopus because he's not dimensional. He's flat. So I don't want to give him any dimension, otherwise it'll look like there's an octopus crawling out of her pants. And we want it to look like a tattoo. So I'll probably do the tattoos. I'll probably do them both maybe in purple, or what do you think? Purple or blue? Maybe blue? Purple? I don't know. I think the idea of a purple octopus would be cool. All right, so now on her shirt, I want to take like a blue, like a gray blue, and I'm also going to put some of this in her skin. But her white shirt, you only see the sleeves, and you see a little bit in between the corset and a little bit along the lacy top right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade that with a little bit of blue and blend it out with white, and then it'll still look white. It'll look like it's a white shirt. Just a tiny bit. A little bit along the top, but especially in between here, there'd be a little bit darker shadow on the white of the shirt that's under the corset there. Okay, so I'm just going to add just the tiniest bit. Oh, I have so many color books and so little time, right? So that'll just make the white shaded. You could do it with gray. Well, you could do it, I mean, if the shirt had a pink tint to it, got a little bit of pink, but I'm just going to add just a little bit of blue. And then I'll go back over it again. You want to make sure that you keep your pencil tips clean. Whoops, and sharp. Let's sharpen that again. Yeah, I'm going to put some blue in her skin too. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of blend that blue into the white. Just kind of, I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference here. Let me, from this sleeve, see how it's blended in to that one? See, it's not blended in yet. And you can add more, go back and add more blue if you want it more shaded, or more, a little bit more shadow. But it's kind of like a see-through, sharpen again, it's kind of like a see-through lacy shirt, right? Like, you could probably even put some of her skin showing through if you wanted to. Like just maybe a touch of peach. And I don't know how much is showing up. Let me pick a little bit darker color so it shows up. So it kind of looks like it's see-through. Again, you probably can't see that very well. See how it looks like it's see-through now? Just a little, not too much. It just gives it an iridescent kind of look. Okay. Which Carrie, oh, what color? Oh, well, I'm still using the same peach colors, and the blue was blue slate. That's my favorite blue in paint and blue. I mean, it's kind of like that and indigo or Payne's gray, kind of a blue gray. Love me some blue gray. So can y'all see how that makes it look like her skin? Now, I haven't done the tattoos. I'm still deciding what colors to do that. Okay. I'm still thinking the octopus needs to be purple. Not sure about the anchor. Where's my tattoo girls? Any tattoo girls here? Okay, I'm going to give her a little bit more cleavage. And a little bit more shadow right under the shirt there, or under the corset. I think that's pretty good. And then you want to go back and either take a white or like I use what's it called, ginger root. Depending on the skin tone now, you got to be careful. You're not sure, test it out. Or the light peach again, and just keep, kind of blend it out so there's no harsh lines. Unless it's meant to be. Like her hair might actually leave a harsh shadow. But for the most part, you want it softly blended. Light blue on purple sounds good on the octopus. What about the anchor? What do y'all think? Blue on the anchor? I don't know. Would y'all tattoo girls have different colors of tattoos like that? I mean, I don't want to do a Kat Von D here, right? I'm not going to go for a Kat Von D look, right? We're just going to add a couple of those little tattoos on the pirate girl, all right? So I'm just kind of looking where there might be some harsh lines, harsh shadows there, and just kind of blend them out. Again, if it was a portrait, I'd spend a lot more time as far as shades in her skin. Gray on the anchor. Okay. All right, so, but now what I'm going to do is I want to take a little bit of blue, and I just want a little bit of blue in her skin here and there, not just a little touch, like right along her collarbone, maybe a little in the cleavage, just a little touch of, you don't want to put too much blue. She's going to look like she's see-through, like she's a ghost or something. You don't want that. Unless you want her to be a ghost, okay? So I'm just going to kind of shade around her bosoms a little bit. Maybe right along the edge of these are going to be leather straps and a leather corset. Okay, Terry Tattoo. Oh, now it's going to be Terry Tattoo Trouble. Steel gray on the anchor. Okay. Gray on the anchor. Okay, got it. Stickles on the anchor. Well, but then that wouldn't look like a tattoo unless she's got some kind of new ink, glitter ink we don't know about. So you see that little bit of blue? See that little bit of shading? But that's the deepest shade. You don't want to don't put that all over the place or she's going to look like she's got all kinds of weird indentations, right? Maybe here a little bit under her arm or underarm is showing just a little bit there. And I'm going to put some more on her face here in a minute. This might be a little darker right in the crook of her arm. And then I'm going to go back over it and blend it out a little bit, okay? Maybe just a little there on her wrist. You're afraid of needles bad enough, yes. Well, then Terry Trouble is the one we need to be asking. Okay. All right, so a little bit of shading right there. A little bit around her waist. And just kind of maybe a little on her fingers in there. Very subtle. It's very subtle. Don't go cray on it. Because then you're going to look like she's got... Like I said, she's going to look like she's a ghost or something. And if you're not looking for the ghost effect, just want a little bit. And you are fighting against color book lines too. When you do your own. Well, when I do my portraits, I'm not fighting against black lines like this, right? I have no black outlines on my portraits. I sketch them. I don't ink my portraits. So I'm not fighting against black lines in my portraits. Whereas when you're doing a color book page, you're kind of fighting, especially on the face, you're fighting black lines that you wouldn't normally have, right? All right, so a little shadow under her chin. And again, her red hair is going to be nice and sharp right along under there. But I don't want to do that yet because I'm going to have to touch that with color. Dark turquoise on the anchor. Okay, dark turquoise on the anchor. I don't know if I want it that bold. I'm trying to see how she's kind of subtle. We'll see, Terry. Okay, so I think I will give her some red lips. Which red is this? Crimson red, I think. I'm going to go ahead and give her some red lips. So the top lip's going to be darker. And you try to leave the light, a little bit of light on the bottom, especially on something this tiny. But I'm going to just take a white, gotta sharpen again, and pull the red down. Kind of pull the red lip down so she still has a highlight on her lip. Now it might be too big of a highlight. Let me go back in with the red. Not quite that much. Little pouty lip. And then take your white pencil and kind of pull down the red. Whoops. So that you keep a little bit of a highlight. Your other option is go ahead and do it a little darker. And instead of, because you know, you're not going to be able to get pure white back. You can get it, it'll turn it pink like, but you're not going to get that white back like you can on top of. Now, if I painted her lips with paint, if I painted her lips with acrylic paint, then I could go on top like that, see? But it's not going to do that on color pencil. So that's when you might need to take either paint or a Posca. Where's my Posca pen? And just put that little bit of lip sparkle. See? Because you're not going to get that on top of color pencil. That might just be a little too much. Let's take that down just a tad. Okay? Okay, dark turquoise on the anchor. Dark turquoise on the anchor, and the octopus needs to be grayish purple. Try steel gray on the anchor. Ghostly anchor. A nice pout. Thanks, guys. All right, so let's go back to the blue now. So I want a little bit of shadow under her lip there, a little bit under her nose. And again, she has a very tiny little button nose, so I'm going to kind of keep it kind of little there. But I want to shadow a little bit more. Just going to do a little bit more shadowing. We're going to get into her eyes here in just a minute. I know that's what everybody waits for. But you see how just adding a little bit of that blue gives it just a little bit more depth under the eyes? Same thing again. The line on top of her eye, you normally wouldn't fight with that on a portrait. So now I got to kind of try to blend it out just a little because I don't want a harsh black line. And you know, being used to doing portraits, black harsh lines bother me. But I'm going to do her different eyebrows. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit more shadow up under her hair here. Maybe a little bit down on her widow's peak. But she's very young. She's not going to have a lot of wrinkles, a lot of shading, a lot of stuff going on, right? She's going to have very porcelain-like skin. The dark turquoise could also be pale, yeah. Thank you, Terry. Okay. So just a little bit of shadow, extra shadow. I'm getting a little bit of flaking there. I still have to do her hair. She's going to have dark hair right around her face. Sorry, guys, I froze up just a second with incoming mail. Come on. There we go. And again, the black line under the chin, I wouldn't be fighting with that on a real portrait. All right, but I do want a couple of, let me get her little nostrils. Oh, that's blue. I don't want blue nostrils, although that necessarily wouldn't matter. Okay, here's a dark gray that'll work. When, maybe in a couple of minutes. All right, well, we haven't got everything done yet. Just give me a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to darken up her nostrils just a little. And maybe just a tiny bit on the dip in her lip and the corners of her mouth. Again, now if you do that, remember that it's there. If you still have more shading to do in the skin, you don't want to, put black on the corners of her lips or somewhere like that, and then go in here with your peach and start adding more blending on her skin, and forget that's there because you'll pull that black right into her skin. So you have to be careful when you're blending this stuff. Be aware of where you've added those dark colors. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of blend out a little bit of that blue. And again, you could take a lot of time blending all this skin. But I've got one more hour, and so I can't be, taking too much time. All right, but I do want to get around her eyes done because I want to add bigger eyebrows. I still want her to keep the attitude with the raised one like that. But I want to, there's a little bit of black something right there on her face. Oh yeah, we're going to have freckles anyway, so never mind. I won't worry about that because Silver Screen wants freckles. Alright, so just a little bit more blending. I am going to need to go get a cup of coffee and take a quick break though, guys. I've been here since 8:30. I need hot coffee. So let me do that real quick. I'm just going to leave her right here. So you see how the hair though, see that line right there? That's going to be all covered up when I start going in here with pencil. See, I'll start doing, let me get a darker red. Where's my dark mahogany? So you'll see I'm going to start going in here and start shading her hair. It's going to be much more vibrant. But you see how I'm able to go softly on top of the paint? You can't do that with color pencil. Not the same effect. You can't get that same effect pencil on pencil. This is pencil on acrylic paint. So we're going to be able to get lots of depth in her hair, right? We're going to be able to get lots of depth in her hair. But I just want you to kind of see here. It's going to make her face really, I don't want to say it's going to make her face pop, but you see what I'm talking about though? When you start adding the depth to the hair. But I want to finish her eyes and everything first. And see that black line really bugs me under her chin because it just, she wouldn't have that black line in one of my portraits. But again, I have to remember, we're working with a color book here. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. Back with hot coffee. I needed something to sustain me for another hour. So I got me 3 Sour Patch Kids. Yum! Oh, I love that burst of sourness. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do a gray tattoo. We'll use, I'm not sure which gray it is because it's sharpened off. But I want to try to keep it like, I'm going to kind of shadow it a little bit. Like dimensional. I still want it like a cool tattoo. But I'm not going to shade under the tattoo. In other words, like him. I'm going to shade the octopus, but I'm not going to put a shadow on her like where the arm might be because it's flat on her body. But I still want the tattoo itself to have a little dimension. Right, Terry? And then let me get a lighter gray. That's not light enough. Let me get lighter. That's still not light enough. I almost might have to go with the light blue. I don't know if I have enough light enough gray. Oh, maybe this one. There we go. And just color that in. And then the rope. What about the little rope? What color would you do a rope on your arm, Terry? It just got, it just has a little piece of rope showing there and a little piece of rope showing there. See, can y'all see that? Let me sharpen this gray again. Pale yellow, okay, like maybe a yellow ochre. Because it's got to show up on her skin, right? Just kind of blending out that gray there. Maybe a little darker right there. Like wheat. Well, I think a yellow ochre would work because on top of her skin that's already got color on it, you know. Sharpen again. I gotta sharpen a lot because it's tiny, right? I don't need to shade much on that. I think you can kind of see that, but I do need to get in her arm right here. Kind of blend out the arm. Okay, how's that look? What do y'all think? Maybe just a touch of shade. Let's just shadow this shirt just a little under the arm there because it would probably be a little darker right along the puffiness. The puffy shirt! We're talking Seinfeld earlier. The puffy shirt. All right. And a little bit more right there under the arm. A little blend out. Perfect rose. Okay. Okay. A little bit. Blend out a little bit on her stomach here. Probably y'all can't see any non-blended air. Oh, You probably can't see the non-blended areas, but I can. Again, there's a little piece of paint right there. Where's my white Posca? Should get rid of that. There's a couple little paint spots. Same thing on her arm over here. I'll go over that with the pencil here in a minute. Just kind of blend that out. Some of those paint spots. And a white Posca is good for, you know, adding a couple little brighter highlights here like I did on her lip. I got to keep remembering to pull the thing up and down. That was your bone? No, it was, oh, where'd it go? They're my Sour Patch Kids. All right, let's do the leather. Now, I'm going to go ahead and color in the buckles gray, but they would be perfect with a silver pen, which I do have. So if you have a silver pen or gold, whichever color buckles, you know, they'd probably be brass, wouldn't they? Mine are going to be silver. Silver buckles there, and a silver buckle here. But it would be cool to put stickles on certain areas like that. What's that? Oh, it's a little flask. She's got a little flask right there. So cute. And then here's her silver. I'll have her sword be silver. At least this part of it. And then have another, you know, she might have a bejeweled handle. A crusty, yeah, we don't want a crusty belly button. All right, let's go ahead and do the leather corset here. All right, so I'm going to use a terracotta. That's mahogany red. See, mahogany red and terracotta look so close when you pick them up. You got to really pay attention there. So, but I want terracotta and a dark brown. Again, let's make sure that's dark brown. Yeah, dark brown. And a burnt ochre. So there's kind of 3 shades. Okay. So I'm going to take the lightest one. I'm going to take the burnt ochre. And I'm going to sharpen that up. The bottle should be brown, Dee Dee. Okay. Thank you. I know, because you're all about those pirates, right? I still got to do the octopus tattoo, but I'm going to just kind of working my way down. And we still got to do her hair. Oh, let's stop and do her eyes. Let's go ahead and do her eyes real quick. Okay, we don't want to run out of time for the eyes. Not that we're going to run out. We still got an hour, but, you know. All right, so I want to do the pupils. Where's my black? I think I'll just go with a black pen. Where's the black? You know, sometimes a black pen works good for, I'm just going to color in her pupils, and then I'm going to add my own white highlight. Now, if you use a pen, remember, be careful. It's probably going through. Oh, see, I smeared that. Sure did. Gotta be careful. We'll go back over that in a minute. We've got to let it dry. All right, so now I want her eyes to be very vibrant green. So I'm going to start with lime green. Start with lime green. And again, I do not like, I think I did on the other ones too. The black line that's like where the eye line is, you know, your eyelid, you know, the bottom lid there. Unless you have eyeliner on, it's not going to have a black line there. And this is the one place that I really just bugs me to have a line right there. So I take that line out. I don't know if you can tell the difference. See, look at that and look at that. See that black line right there? Unless you got eyeliner on, you're not going to have a black line. And so I just take my Posca and white that out. And then you can go back in there with a little bit of skin color, which I'll go in there with a flesh color, or even a little bit of blue too. But I don't like that line, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll still put a line under her eye, but I'll put it in with peach, not black, okay? All right, so I did smear that a little, but she's going to have freckles. That's right, she's going to have freckles. Let me just kind of blend that out where I smeared it a little. Got to be careful not to run your hand across wet areas. Okay, I want a little bit more shaded over here. All right, I'm going to also do, while that's drying, while the white Posca is drying, all right, I'm going to go ahead and shade the pupil. I'm going to put dark green at the very top of the pupil. Okay, I'm going to shade, it's like a shadow under, where's that sample? Let's see, where was it in? Here's a close-up of an eye that's, now it's not exactly like this eye, of course, every eye is different, but I wanted to show you. Whoops. So what I'm doing now, even though this one's brown, okay, let me get the brown out here to show you. So what I'm doing here with green is what I did here with brown. There's a shadow from your eye, the eyelid itself. It's going to be darker right up under there. It's going to be darker. And you're also probably going to have a shadow, where's the blue? You're going to have that shadow here too, and here, under on the white part of the eye. You see what I'm talking about? So that gives it almost like the shadow of the eyelid. Oh, good, silver screen. And again, this black, where's my black? The pupil's going to be darker too. Okay. So what I just want to show you this as a close-up, because that's what I'm doing here with the dark green in the pupil, is I'm shading, giving her shadow, and it's probably, maybe you can see it a little bit, okay? And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take the lighter olive green and kind of pull down. This is a tight area, granted, this is a small area, and just kind of blend that out just a little, so it's not a harsh line. It's just a little blended in that eye. Look, let's sharpen that one again. Yes, eyelid shadow of another sort. Exactly. So I'm just going to kind of blend that dark green, and this broke again. Let's go back to the yellow ochre, the lime green, and kind of brighten that up. All right, now I'm going to take my blue, and I'm going to shadow right under the eye. Now I'm going to add darker eyelash. I'm going to add more to her eyelashes. Okay, just a little bit of shadow. Can you kind of see that right there and right there? Now you don't want it too harsh. If you get it too harsh, take your white, make sure it's clean. Make sure the tip is clean all the time on the white pencil. And I'm just going to kind of blend that in just a little, okay? Okay, look at the difference on the blue. See how it's got a little bit of shadow on the white of the eye and none over there? Okay, so now we're going to do that. I'm going to do it on this side too. And again, if it's too harsh, which it's easy to do in these tiny little color books, just kind of blend it out with the white. That, and a little bit of, use the lime green again. Where'd it go? Okay, now I'm going to take my Posca and make sure that my little white highlight is nice and bright, and maybe it might even have, depending if you do manga eyes or whatever, there might even be another highlight on the pupil to give it even a little bit more. Okay. Go back with the dark green again, right along the edge. See, I wouldn't have any black line. The black line of the iris, I would have that a color. But it's very, I'm working in a tight space, right? All right, now I'm going to get the flesh color. I think that's dry on the bottom. And I just want to add just a little bit of bottom lid, right? Where you would put eyeliner if you were going to put any. But it's actually an eyelid there and not a black line. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Maybe you might need a little bit more blue in the corner here. A little bit more. And then maybe a white. Well, let me go ahead and put a little bit of peach in the corner of her eye first. I'm going to put a little bit of peach in the corner of her eye, but I still want it to pop, so I might just put a tiny bit of white, just one tiny little dot of white in that eye. Okay, I don't know who's tweeting me. I can't look right now, but if you're a new tweeter, I'll get to you. All right, so now what I'm going to do is going to take, let's go ahead and do the mulberry kind of, it's either mulberry or, let me test it out here. Piece of paper. Yeah, I think it's mulberry. And I want to do her eyebrows. Yes, it's that white that makes the glisten. Okay, sorry guys, I bumped the camera. Either that or the camera's moving a little bit with the fan behind me. And I'm so zoomed in, it's really noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make her eyebrows a little thicker. But I'm going to keep the shape of them. I'm going from the bottom. In other words, I'm not putting any hair on underneath the eyebrow. I'm keeping them plucked. I'm keeping them plucked. But I've thickened it up a little. It's a little dark, but this is going to be darker too. Okay. So again, I want to keep the shape of that arched eyebrow there. I want to keep that attitude. But I'm going to make her, and she's not going to be Frida. No Frida eyebrows. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I just want them a little thicker. What do y'all think? And I could go back in with a darker red too, or a dark purple, just to make it a little bit, few darker hairs. Oh, gotta keep sharpening, keep breaking. Yeah, that was mahogany. And now I'm going in with dark purple. You could go in with black too. If I can get this dark purple to stay sharpened. Just some shades, darker shades of red, Terry. And just a few little, just a couple little extra dark hairs in there. Because see, I'm getting ready to darken her hair. Right? This is dark purple. I'm going to use that as a shadow color. Where I want the dark red of her hair to be really dark. I'm just blending it out there. I'm going to go right along her face here. But I would recommend make sure that you got all the peach color, all your shading done first. Before you go in with the purple there, because if you try to go back in here now with the peach, you're going to be pulling that purple into her face, just like I accidentally did there. But she does need just a little bit more blue right in here. I want a little bit more definition on her nose bridge. And a little bit more on the eye. Okay, so now I want to get that final little bit of blue above and around her eyelashes, because I'm going to go on top of the black eyelashes. You'll be able to tell the difference here in a minute. Because I've been putting colors, peach and blue and stuff on top of her eyelashes have kind of got dull. So now, and you can do it with a pen, but I'm going to try to do it here with a sharp black. So let me sharpen up my black. Yeah, links are open. And any of you new people, hey Pat, any of the new people here, like Silver Screen or any of y'all, if you want to put in links or follow us on YouTube, Twitter. All right, so now I'm going to get in here with the final bit. I'll try to do one side and then show you. I'm going to I'm going to wisp up those eyelashes so carefully, but I still want them dark. I want darker eyelashes and just a little longer. Just shh, 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 shh. Okay, so let's see if you can see the difference between the two eyelashes. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to this one. Very gently. Okay. And see how you can see how the peach under the eye looks so much more real than a black line showing the eyelid. You know, like see how she has a black, and it's a color book. You got to do it that way, right? But see that black line under the eye? That's what I don't like about a color book is that, and you can't help it. You got to draw it. But I can also go in there and take it out with a white pen and put back just a little bit of peach. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take a terracotta or ochre, terracotta, and I'm going to put a few freckles. Now, when you do freckles, you want them to be different sizes. You want them to be very subtle, have some lighter than others, and less is more. Make sure you go over the bridge of the nose. Don't forget to put some on the bridge of the nose. And just a sprinkle of freckles, right? Put a couple darker ones over here. Keep it subtle. Just a few. Otherwise, she's going to look like she's got the pox. I mean, she's a pirate, but we don't want her to look like she's got the pox. Okay, so now I'm going to take the ochre, the burnt ochre, and I'm going to start doing the leather stuff now. So I'm going to start with a nice light coat. I still got to do her hair too, but I'm just going to start with a nice light burnt ochre color, all the leather areas. This is just the base coat, right? Always start with a nice light base coat. I got to do her hair there with the red. I'll get to that too. But I'm just right now and I got to do her little tattoo there. A little, but. All right, so right now I'm just going to put a full-on light coat of the ochre, the burnt ochre, over the whole thing. Just a light coat. It's just the base coat. And I'm going to go ahead and go over the little straps here too, the little ties. But I'm going to go back in here and on top of the little rivets, or where the little, I guess, rivets are, I'm going to do those the gray blue. So they'll look metallic. Right now I just want a nice smooth coat. Okay. I know it's very light and subtle. Oh, okay. The silver screen said the freckles make her have an innocent feel to her demeanor. She's mad. Somebody left her on the beach. All right, so now I'm going to go in here with the, on her belt, same brown, because I want it to be leather here. And again, it's the burnt ochre. Terracotta or burnt ochre, either one would work. They're similar enough. Okay, I'm just putting a flat, even coat on the whole thing. I think I'm going to make her this purple and red. Isn't that kind of like those, I don't know, they're kind of like the vintage, you know, fabrics that you see, probably seen in movies. So I don't know that it's actually, but purple and red silk, kind of like a silk, maybe green. Purple and green, no, that look too Halloween. I always think of Halloween when I put purple and green together, so I got to be careful of that. I think purple and red. Purple and red silk pants, pantaloon. Well, they're not pantaloons. That's like underwear, right? And that right there is probably part of her pants, not part of the belt. So let me get that. Let me erase that because I think. Where's my Ticonderoga? Oh, don't spill any black ink on there. Let me move that out of the way. Okay. Where's my eraser? So many things lying around. I think I'm going to make that purple. They all look like mean girls. Well, some of them look sad, actually. Look at that one. I'm just going to kind of flip through. I'll show you some of the faces. Now, that one looks mean. But look what it is that makes them look mean. It's the eyebrows. Look, if I took those eyebrows off, she doesn't look mean anymore, does she? See? It's the eyebrows that give the face expression. So just look at her eyes. What kind of expression do you imagine her to have? Yeah, silk, yeah. Purple and red silk, I think. Purple and red silk. And I'll show you how to do that, too. I'll show you how to do satin. See, she kind of looks sad. Because it's the eyebrows, look. Purple and antique gold. Purple and gold would be good. See, I made my own eyebrows there. Because she just draws them in like, like outlines them, right? I have to add hair. This is too much like when we plucked our eyebrows in the 70s and drew them on. Too much like that for me. I have to add a little bit of hair. But you can see everyone's got a different expression. Okay. But she's a little mad, for sure. Okay, I think her lips need to be, her top lip. Oh, let's sharpen again. So you think purple and gold? Okay. Purple and gold. Purple and gold it is. All right, so let's, I just need a top lip just a little darker. Needs to stand out a little bit more. All right, let's get back to the, I'm going to have to tilt my camera down just a little because I got to pull this closer to me. Because I'm otherwise I'm not going to be in camera. All right, so now let's go ahead. All right, so now I'm going to be using, let's just use a couple colors to keep it simple. We'll use the burnt ochre and a dark brown. We can probably do it with 2 colors. I don't want the dark purple. That's always the trick there. That's gray. Where's my dark brown? Just had it. Here it is. Okay, so now I'm going to start just doing a little bit of shading. Thank you, silver screen. All right, so I'm going to kind of shade under the belt buckle there, or the buckle, right where the buckle would be, see? All right, see, watch over here. It would have a little shadow right under there. Probably a little shadow next to the little buckle itself. The little pokey part of the buckle. I'm sure there's a name for the pokey part of the buckle. All right, so now I'm just going to start adding some shadow with the dark brown. And then go back with the terracotta and just kind of blend it in a little bit. But I want to keep some light areas too. I don't want it to be highlighted because leather is not going to have a highlight, but it's not going to be, it'll still have light and dark. See that? See how it's light and dark? But it's not going to have like a white highlight on the leather because leather's, you know, more fuzzy than it is highlighted. So can you see that a little bit? And if you need a little bit darker, get a dark gray or a black. And then just the, whoops, I got on the buckle there. It's okay. Just the tiniest bit more shadow. But I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to pull it in with the brown. Can you see? I'm going to go back with the ochre color and kind of pull that, you know, blend that in. Because there's going to have different shades of brown on leather. Usually, you know, you're going to have, it's not going to be just a solid brown. It's going to have a few shades of brown. Kind of like that. I haven't got to the hair yet right there. Yes, purple and gold. Okay, so if I'm going to use gold, I'm wondering if I should go, let me see, I got a gold pen that works really good. But I want to show y'all how to do, how to make it look, sorry guys, I bumped it, how to make it look like it's shiny. Okay. Let's first finish up the leather bits. Okay, let's make sure I'm not got purple there. It's dark brown. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to just start less talking, more arting. There'll be a shadow right under that buckle there. More likely than not. Okay, there's going to be shadows underneath the laces there. I'm not sure what color I want to, I mean the laces would probably be leather, a leather lace. But I'm thinking I might do it purple. Because we're going to coordinate that leather. We're going to coordinate the cord. We're going to coordinate the cording with her pants. I could do them gold too. I could do that gold, but she probably wouldn't have a gold cording on her bodice. All right, so I just shaded underneath like that. And remember I said I'm going to do blue little rivets. Well, it's a gray blue because I want those little rivets. I'll show you one side so you can see the difference between the two. So it looks like the cording. See, the left side's got the rivets and the right side. We're going to make them pop even more, but I got to get the base on there. So just going kind of around those little rivets. Those are little metal bits, and they could be brass, they could be silk, they could be any color really. Technically, I'm going to do a little shadow on the shirt in between right there. See a little bit of shadow in between there? Love it already. You need to get more practice here. It does take practice. I'm not lying. It does take practice. All right, I think I will go with purple on the cording. And I'm going to want a nice, you know, royal purple. Let's see what color this one is. Don't want that dark, probably. I need a couple shades. All right, let me sharpen her up. And you could use a gel pen, too. You know, I'll probably have a nice purple gel pen. Let me just look. All right, let's see what colors these purple gel pens. For a tiny area, you know. Just a cheap gel pen. I think these are at Michael's for, you know, a ton for $5 or something. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do a purple. A little lacing. It's really subtle. I don't even know if you could tell it's purple. I can, but okay. I still have to shade all this. I'm not done with the corset part, but I wanted to kind of show you this. Now what I'm going to do is take my Posca, my white, and add just the tiniest touch of white in each one of those little rivets. See? I'm going to blend all that brown out. So now I'm going to come in here with my, oh, what's my dark brown? I'm coming in here and start shading with a couple shades of brown here. I'm going with the dark brown now, and then I'm going to go back over it with the terracotta color or ochre color. The, what is it called again? Burnt ochre. So kind of orangey brown, because that leather is kind of orangey brown, you know. Still with me? I know it does make a huge difference on the eyelid. So, and I want the leather to be a little splotchy, like, you know, so it looks a little bit more like real leather. Not, I want it to be a little, I won't say textury, but a little, so you could almost feel it's kind of fuzzy like. Okay, so I'm just going to shade a little bit. Then I'm going to blend with the terracotta color, you know, whichever terracotta color you have, burnt ochre, terracotta, any of those. And add another nice soft layer and just keep building up the layers. You know, if any of y'all stream or, you know, put your times, your dates, your websites, your YouTube channel, feel free. All about the sharing here. Speaking of Sharon, thanks again, Sharon. I don't know if she's still here. For the box of Post-it notes. That was so awesome. Okay, so I'm just slowly building it up. Don't, like, try to get it all in one. Press down. Build it up slowly. So can you see the difference between that side and that side color-wise? Okay, so we're going to do the same thing over here. This side's going to be much darker back in here. But I'm not pushing hard. I'm letting the pencil build up. You know, you'll have much better results if you just do light layers, because once you start bearing down and getting a wax buildup, you can't blend anymore. It just won't blend the same if you start getting the wax built up, right? I mean, it'll eventually build up after like 20 or 30 layers. But you want to keep it as soft as you can for as long as you can so that you can get more color variation in there. I mean, that's why I say, you know, people say, well, what do you want to color in a color book for? But if you're practicing this stuff, you're going to get a lot out of shading, blending, colors, all that out of a color book. So don't be throwing shade on my color book. Where's Paula? I miss Paula. Paula, I hope everybody, I mean, I know your dogs, but I hope your niece is okay. And I tried to look to see how she was doing, but I didn't see a post. So we miss Paula. She's been having sick dogs and having to take care of the fur babies. Okay, and go back with the dark brown and just kind of keep shading. And again, you can take as much or as little time as you want. I'm going to do at least some of her hair before we go. What time is it? Okay, we probably got about 35 minutes left before Ustream says you're going to have to start another recording if you want to do any more. And this is already my 3rd episode today. So, all right, so now what I want to do, make sure she's round. You know what I mean? We want to keep her shape, the correct feminine form. And I'm going to go back in with another nice layer of the terracotta, building it up, building up the layers kind of slow so you don't lose the shapes. And then what I'll do is I'll take a nice, probably what is it called? Ginger root. Ginger root is a good blender. If you don't want to go with pure white, ginger root's almost like a neutral. It's almost like a gray that will blend things without it being too, like it's almost like a colorless blender almost. And I don't use a colorless blender. Nothing wrong with it if you do. But ginger root is a good blender. But I kind of want to keep a little bit of the texture in this leather. I mean, I don't want it doesn't necessarily have to be as smooth as skin, right? Because it's leather. You can keep kind of adding more dark areas if you want, maybe a little bit darker right along there. But just to blend the colors together, I'm just using this ginger root. And again, I'm not bearing down. Don't be mashing down your paper. Don't be mashing down. But can you see how that kind of blended that out a little bit? See how I kind of kept some textury look right there? So now when I blend that in, it'll be smoother, but it'll still have a variation. But because I've gone lightly with this, if I still want it even darker, I can still go in with another color and add more on top of it. Because it's not all wax buildup. Okay? It's not all waxy. So I can keep adding some more layers to it. Okay? I need to follow. Okay, what's your name on Pinterest? Silver Screen. Are you on Twitter too? I don't get over to Pinterest much because I don't have time for it. Instagram, Twitter, Ustream, YouTube, Facebook. I try to get over to Pinterest at least once a week, but that's pretty much it. Ask Julie. Julie's the one that got me in. You know, she's my Pinterest princess. Julie, I know her last name's not Topaz. You'll tweet it to me. Thanks, Carrie. All right. So I'm just kind of blending this together softly, softly. Then I can go back in if I got it too light. Go back in with another layer of the... I hope you can see the subtleties of this. It's kind of tricky on the, even though I'm zoomed in. Thank you, Carrie. I have a feeling that was the link. And thanks all the new people for being here. Appreciate it. All right, so can you kind of see how that looks like leather? It might need a little bit more dark back here on the back, kind of behind her there. Okay, now I want my, I got the gold out, but I wanted the silver buckles. Let me get my silver pen. And these pens I got at Hobby Lobby. They're just the Pentel Sunburst. They come in the pack together, the gold and the silver, and they're only like $5. $5 for both of them, and you can use a coupon. So, but they're the Pentel Sunburst Metallic Gel. Okay, so I'm going to use the silver on her buckle, and it probably is going to be very subtle. You won't be able to probably see it here. I'll know it's there, but I guess you can tell a little bit. Okay. All right, let's move on down our body. Yeah, and we're going to do the belt the same way. Same as this. Same as those straps right there. Which still need to be a little blended with my ginger root. Just a little blendy. I want to get to her hair here. I don't want to run out of time before we get her hair. All right, let's go ahead and oh yeah, and her pants. Dang. Tricky on the time. Okay, let's do the, I think I'm going to get a purpley, a grayish kind of lavender color. Like maybe, let's see what color this is. Let me sharpen it up. It's called lilac. I'm going to start with lilac on the octopus tattoo. And then I'll just do a little bit of shading on him. Some little spots and stuff. You can see his little eye there. Let me kind of outline his eye. I might go in there with a gel pen on his little tentacles so I can get that detail with those little dots. So I'm just going to kind of like that. It's a little bit more color on the top. And then let's see what, let me test it because I'm not sure if I'm going to want that dark of purple. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's good. I want to do the tentacles in that dark purple. So now I'm going to just go along his little legs and just add the little, because that'll make it really pop that it's an octopus there, right? And we don't want Terry dissing on my tattoo work here, do we? So I'm doing the dark bits with a gel pen here. And the gel pen will clog up with the pencil, so you got to kind of clean off the wax off the pen tip, because it will pick up wax, although there's not a lot right here. How's that, Terry? Got to get terrible, no, not terrible, trouble tattoo Terry. There we go. And I'll blend a little bit. You and the did you? Yes, I did. I added the freckles. I'll show you again, Mel. Hang on. I'm just going to kind of blend out that gel pen because it's still wet. The gel pen will stay wet for a little bit because it's on top of some color pencil. You got to make sure now. I don't want to smear that either. I don't want to run my hand over the top of that gel pen until it dries, right? Does that look good, Terry? And then again, I can take a little bit of white and just kind of just blend a little bit there. Just kind of smooth it out. But I still want them to look, you know. Yeah, those are freckles. Okay, let's do our belt next. I'm going to do the same two browns that I did here. I've already got a layer of the ochre color on there. Now I'm going to go in here and start, oh, let me do the, well, I guess it doesn't really matter which direction I go. Let me go ahead and get the silver here. Do our belt buckle with the silver gel pen. All right, now I'm going to go in here with the dark brown, start shading. Still with me? I want to try to get to at least a little bit of her hair and also the pants here. I want to show you how to do, to make it look like silk. And I didn't get to the sand yet either. But I'll tweet a finished picture of it later. I want to get at least you know the areas, right? I did the skin, I'm doing some leather. So whether it gets 100% done, I'm going to get as far as I can before we, you know, the next 30 minutes. But, all right, so you see the second layer on top of this layer. So just that much alone, just the dark brown on top of this. See how much difference that makes? And I also like to say it every time. You know, I don't think it's really necessary. Most of y'all have heard me say it enough times. I'm not trying to say that y'all don't know how to color or what colors to use or you don't know how to shade at all or anything like that. But I'm talking it out. So as I'm coloring, it's not so much even that I'm trying to tell you what to do as I'm telling you what I'm doing, right? I'm just talking out what I'm doing. So it's not like I'm trying to say you don't know how to do any of this stuff. I just want y'all to know that, you know, I don't want to sound like, you know, I'm telling you how to use pencils for the very first time or nothing like that, right? But I'm just talking it out. The process that's I'm working it. Thanks, Marita. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, guys. Yeah, just, you know, I like to try to encourage people to try. You know, y'all know me. Just get started. When one of y'all wrote the limerick about, she'll tell you just to start. That's so true. You know, so much of it is we just think in our head, oh, I'd like to do this someday. All right, now I'm going to get some black and just do a little tiny, and I'm going to blend that black out, but I want to add just a tiny bit. Where'd my black go? No, it's right here somewhere. Where'd it go? Did it roll off on the floor? Which happens all the time. Well, let me just get another one there. So no. So, oh, here it is. I forgot what I was going to say. Looking for the black. I forgot what I was going to say. But I'm going to put a little bit here, but I'm going to go over it with the brown. I just want a little bit more oomph in certain areas. On the edge. Maybe a little bit of texture here and there. Could always save the braid for the next stream. Yeah, I'm trying not, I don't really want to save, here's why I don't want to save the braid for the next stream, because then I can't post it. I have to wait till, you know, Wednesday or next week. I don't want to wait till next week. I want to get her, you know, I don't want her hanging around that long. Just saying. So I'm going to go ahead and try get as much done as I can. And whatever I don't finish, like if I don't finish 100% of her hair, you'll at least know how I'm doing it. It's not like it's going to be different, you know, anywhere else. It's going to be the same. It's just going to be part, and we'll see how far we get. We'll see. You never know. A little bottle right there. But I want to get some of the pants done. All right, so there's just a little bit of textury stuff on the leather. Now I'm going to go back with the ochre color or the terracotta, whichever one. And now I'm going to start putting another layer on top of that. Going to blend all that in with the terracotta. And if I lose some of the darker areas, I'll go back and put those back in again. Leaving a little bit lighter areas to blend in with the ginger root. See? So just adding that terracotta right over that, and then a little bit of ginger root to blend, and you can see this to this and that. Actually, this needs just to be, I think this needs a little bit more shade on this side of her. Just needs a little bit more shadow on that side of her. There you go, that's a little better. I try to do an impromptu on Wednesdays. I don't promise, I don't schedule. I don't schedule Wednesdays or Fridays, but occasionally I'll do a Wednesday or Friday, but always a Monday. Okay, Mondays is my schedule. I schedule Monday all day to stream if need be. If I, you know, feel like it. Up until 4, Jean streams at 4, so I usually go in time to go make my big salad, and then come back and watch an hour of Jean before Hubster comes home and I got to feed him. All right, yeah. See, there we go. That little bit of extra dark right there is really making a difference. I think the dark brown. See, just a little extra dark brown. I think that really needed that. Yeah. Okay. Could use a little bit more around the rivets too, just to kind of make it a little more like the rivets are kind of sunk in. You know, kind of pulling tight on her laces there. Okay, now I got to go back in there with the blend just a little. Okay, let's go back down to the belt. No, Dr. Terry said the octopus looks great. No, no shade to throw. Okay. Thanks, Terry. And thanks everybody for being here. Hope you all enjoyed getting some ideas, because that's really what I enjoy. I like getting, oh, that's what I was going to say earlier, getting people started. You know, don't let it like sit in your head. Don't let your ideas just sit in your head and you never get them out of your head and never go do anything with them. At least write the ideas down until you can get to them. Because, you know, we always get ideas. We're always getting ideas, and don't say you don't. You always get ideas, but if you don't write them down and make a plan to do something with them, then you're not going to do anything with them. So you got to start. Got to start. Terry, after all, I am retired. Terry. Well, I retired from my day job, and this is what I did. I started this all up. I mean, I've always arted. Don't get me wrong. I've always done art all my life. But as a full-time job, it wasn't until after I retired that I started full-time arting. I mean, I've always had, you know, well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't always had creative jobs. I've tried as much as we've moved. I've always tried to have creative jobs. You know, I've worked in advertising. I've worked in visual merchandising, display. I've worked on designing cross-stitch books. But then I've also waitressed, worked at banks, credit unions, office supply store. I even sold cemetery property for a while. When you move a lot in the military, you take what you can get, and then you art on the side. But I've always had an art space. Hubster's always been real supportive, always, you know, made sure I had an art space, and even if I didn't have a room, I had an art nook, whether it's in a corner of a bedroom, the top of the stairs, somewhere. I've always had an art nook. But as far as doing this full time, it wasn't until after I retired. Do the dang paints. All right, there we go. So you kind of get the idea with the leather there. Still got to do that little bottle. But I think you can, you know, and we can tweak it if we have time. But right now you can see the leather belt, her leather corset, and the purple laces. All right, so now I want to do a little bit on her hair around her face, and then we'll, I haven't done the sword or the little flask yet, but I want to show you how to make shiny, well, let me show you, here, let me show you this. In case we don't have a lot of time. In my Doodler's Anonymous book, I did some silk ribbon things. Let me find that so you can at least, here we go. Look how see how you can do silky. This is just the white, and I shaded up in the white, but notice the yellow, and it goes all the way from almost black, all these shades of yellow ochre and brown to make it look like gold ribbon right there. And the trick is see how the light comes right across like that? So the trick is to keep your ribbons consistent, like he has a big belly. Okay? So keeping it light like that, and I kind of wanted to do something similar to this on her purple and gold pants, so that it's got some highlights coming around. Now, this is much smaller, so it's not going to be as dramatic as it was on the Doodler's Anonymous, because I had lots of real estate to work with. Look at the difference in the size. See that to that? But I just wanted you to see. It goes almost from black to dark brown, a couple of shades of brown there, yellow. Keep blending the brown, yellow, brown, yellow, brown, yellow, shading, yellow, 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 and then into white. And that's how you get like a satiny ribbon. But how it works is the highlight comes all the way across. See? See how the highlight comes across like that? That makes it have that. Here's another example. See how the highlight's consistent? When the highlight's consistent like that, it makes it look like that's the shiny part. Yes, and shiny hair works for the same way. Exactly, my fairy treasures, exactly. Yeah, but this color makes it look metallic. Okay? And that's kind of what I want to do with the purple and the gold. Okay? But it's tiny, and using a gold pen is a little trickier than using pencil. Can't really blend your gold pen, but we're going to give it a go here in a minute. But I want to work on our hair a minute. Okay, so let me get a couple of shades of red. My crimson red, which is pretty much the base color of the paint I used, which was cherry red. Are we still focused, guys? I hope. And then my magenta. Going to go with those two, magenta and the cherry red. Now, when you do white highlights, you want to kind of keep your highlights. You don't want it to turn pink, in other words. So you kind of want to get your white highlights where you want them on like a red hair, because you don't want to start blending with red and turn the hair pink. They may have some pink highlights, or it could have orange. Orange would probably be better than pink, unless she has, people dye their hair with pink, and, I'm not talking about that. Okay, but I am going to I'm going to go ahead and pick out a few highlights, okay? Now you can go back over these with red. And tone it down if you don't want bright white. But you might want bright white. Okay, I'm going to get her braid here. Now that little mark right there is where we played with it earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend that in. So I'm going to pick out all the shapes of her hair and her braid. Oh wait, let me finish that. Let me finish coloring in that wisp of hair that's coming across her chest. There. Okay, so I'm just going to, and the reason this white is working on top of the red, remember this right here, here's, well, I'll do it with red too, just to show you. Okay, here's red. So here's just red color. This is red paint. All right, so I'm going to take my white Prismacolor. Now watch. Look, you can't even see it on top hardly. And I'm bearing down. Look, that is white pencil on top of red. Right here, look, I am barely touching that. Barely touching. You see? And it's because this is paint that I can get that on there. On our braid, or any of it. Okay. So you like the belt? Thank you. Now I want to look. See the tip? You don't want to smear that anywhere you don't want it. So you always want to clean off your pencil tips. All right. Well, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. And I want her braid really to stand out too, so I'm extra highlight. I'm going to give it extra oomph, I think. And we'll start shading with the darker color too. But I'm just going to kind of pick out some of the best highlights that I want. And hopefully we'll get far enough along so you can see some of it. picking out some areas in her hair. Now it's going to be blended in, and I'll probably, I mean, actually I think orange would be good, because orange will give it a highlight, but it won't turn it pink. I don't want this to turn pink on me, and that's a little tricky with red hair. All right, so now though I'm going to go in with the darker magenta and start doing all the shading next. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here and start, especially around her face, and I'm going to start doing this. How can I show you? Well, I'll just show you on the paper. I'm going to have some darker areas right around her face, but on the red part, I'm going to start, you know, feathering it out like this. Okay, it's going to start feathering out. So it'll be still shaded, but it's not quite as dark as like right up against her face. I hope you can see that. Same thing in the dark area of the curls. That'll give it shade under the curls like that. But especially right along the shadow of her face. The outside of the braid. Hope y'all can see. I'm trying. So I'm kind of going under the brightest highlight to give it real dramatic, kind of like the waves we did. It's kind of the same thing as we did with the waves. My camera's really moving a lot. Let me tilt my fan. I think my fan, it doesn't really, it's not that noticeable when it's farther away. She looks good with the dark auburn hair. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of a dark red, yeah. So I'm just going to go in here and start, you know, making it look. I want the braid to show up. It's got some folds in it like this. And we'll go back in and blend it all out. But right along her body especially. I want it nice and dark, so I want her to stand out. And then right in here, that's blue, that's the water. So let me get in there with my indigo and sharpen that up along her sleeve, along the hair there. And again, I need to sharpen up all these areas, but I want to kind of blend it out too. I don't want her outline. You got to be careful when you go around edges like this, so that if you don't want it to look like it's an outline, you want to take your pencil and kind of blend all that out. So it's not like just a sharp outline. You want to start blending it out a little bit. I don't even know if that's showing up, because it's pretty dark. Unless you want her to be like in a fog. If you want her in mist or something, that's different. But I'm not having her in mist. So I want nice, crisp, sharp edges around her skin, because she's in front of the water. Her hair might be dark in there, right around her sleeve. See, I want her to pop out from the background. Okay, this one bit of braid, it looks kind of weird. don't know why. Let me go over that with red. I want the braid to go this way. I'll start blending some of that in. Now once I start blending things in with the other red, I'm covering up the paint. So that's why I said at the beginning, if you want those white highlights, you need to pop those out at the beginning, because you're not going to be able to do this on top of color pencil. Okay, this cannot be done. What I just did there with the white, it won't happen on top of color pencil. I mean, you can get some white, but it's not going to be like that. Okay, so you want to pick those highlights out right at the beginning. Now, you may not want them all. I might fade some of them out. But if you don't have them at the beginning and you cover up your paint, if I cover up the red paint with the pencil, I can't go on top of it with the white. Does that make sense? Oh, no, that's not black. That's indigo blue. I know it looks dark on here, but it's the indigo blue. Right along her body. And then I'm kind of feathering it out into the dark blue. That's dark blue water. So if I want to just crisp up the edges around her. But I'm going to pull that out. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm going to pull it out so it doesn't look like just a black outline. And I got to be careful here because I'm going to turn her arm blue if I'm not careful. So I'm kind of pulling that out. I did get a little on her skin there, and I can't go over that dark blue with peach and get rid of that. I'd have to go in there with some paint or take a Posca and fix it. And then I can go back in there with peach on top of it, where I've kind of messed up the outline of her arm with blue because I got ahead of myself. All right, I'm not going to leave that white, that bright. I mean, it looks okay. I put white around some things, like some portraits and things, but that wasn't my intention on this one. But I think I will highlight her sleeves. Just the edge of her sleeves. See, I'm not used to having black outlines to fight against. You know, I just can do color. Oh, the darker color she shadowed with. On her hair, Terry, or on her body? Her hair, it's the magenta. Magenta? Yeah, the Posca pen is good, but I don't want to outline her in white, because then it looks weird to have part of her outlined in white and part of her outlined in black. The white outline kind of works well on portraits, but not when you have black color book outlines. It's just because it makes the black outlines stand out, you know, that you don't usually have those black outlines on a portrait. I gotta kind of darken up right along the edge there of her. I hope that made sense. It looks pretty, but then look, you see these black lines, like, why is it white there and why is it just, I don't know. It's too stark of a contrast for me on a color book page. So what I'll do is, it should be dry in a second. I'll go back, I'll take my peach. I was just trying to fix the blue that got on her arm. So just outline it in white and then go back with the peach and go over the white. Okay, so it just gives that, I'll pretty much get rid of that outline. It's still a little damp there. It's kind of moving. I'll give it a minute. I don't want to have to redo that 4 times. All right, so let me just keep kind of crisping up the edges of her body. I want to get to the pants. Still haven't got to her pants. Okay, that all looks pretty good there. right, let me go back to the hair. So again, coming back up here, I'm going to want to have where the part is, you know, there's going to be, I want the hair to look like it's going, you know, kind of up like that. Kind of, I don't say bouffant, but it's got a little oomph to it. So that's why I did the lines like that, like up and down, like that. So it gives it and then I'll also want to, and I'll probably do it with the Posca, I'm going to want a few hairs coming out. Now, again, I haven't done any blending really in the hair yet. I'm just trying to get some different shades in there of some purple and red to make it like a dark red. No, it's not aubergine. Aubergine is more purple. More purple like we're going to put in the pants. And we're going to go over a lot of this white too. But I wanted the white there to work on, like, let's see, where's my orange? Let's see. So it can still be highlighted. See, I'm going to go over the white with orange and see how you still see the highlight, but it's not white. See what I mean? If I go over it with red, it's going to look pink. So I'm going to start, you know, kind of putting another layer of color in her hair by going over the white with the orange. Can you see how it's still bright and highlighted? But that wouldn't have shown up with just putting straight on orange. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the white. It just looks a little cartoony. Not that this does, I mean, you know, it's, you know, a fantasy girl face, but, you know, it just looks, it makes the hair look a little bit more truly highlighted. Can you see? So I'm going to do some of the blending here with the orange, and I'll still keep the white. I mean, I'll still keep the light, but it won't be white. And I'll just keep blending in more strands of hair. And you can do that with any color. If you have the base white, the highlights white, you can go over it with yellow, any color. All right, what I got under there? Oh, there's my pencil rolled under there. Okay. Again, I got to be careful. I'm picking up blue from the water right there. I don't want to pull that into the hair. So can you see this to that? See? Yeah, the pink, yeah, red over the white would have made pink hair, which is okay if you want her to have pink hair. You know, I didn't want her to have pink hair. So you can see how I'm blending the orange in, and it keeps her a redhead, but she still has nice bright highlights. So let me get the top of her hair here, and then I'll go down to that last braid. And you can go in and add more dark red in areas too. You know, we can go in there and add darker shadowed areas, which I'll probably do, especially like in the part there. I want to work on the part of her hair. All right, but see how that looks like a nice, pretty, bright redhead which, you know, redheads, unless, you know, most true redheads aren't going to have, you know, a solid red, right? Okay, so here's the difference between, here's with the orange over the white braid, and look. Yes, I'm still recording. I got about 5 minutes though. And we're gonna, so yeah. Here, see the difference though between that and this? This works exactly the same. I'm just, see how that now looks like a braid? Now I could go in there with sharp, you know, a few individual little hairs like that inside the little nook of the, in the little crevice of the braid. But I'd want to still even blend that out a little bit. Okay, but because I'm going over white pencil, and see how I'm in the little crooks of the little nooks, the little nook of the, or the little indent of the braid, it gives it that shadowed area. But it's the white on top of the paint that I'm going over that makes that braid still look highlighted, see? But then I'll want to go back in there and start shading in each little point of the braid and blend that out. I hope this was enough time on the braid because I wanted to do some of the pants before we ran out of time. Okay, so I'll continue on all the way down the braid doing this. Oh, I'm glad y'all enjoy the recordings. Yeah, I know everybody can't be here all day. I don't expect anybody to. I can't be at anybody's stream all day either. Even when I'm working, I still can't be at everybody's stream all day. So I always like recordings. And, you know, like for instance, if I'm watching Paula, when she records, I can go back and if, let's just say I only have time for an hour. Well, then I can go back and watch an hour now and an hour later and an hour later. So you don't have to watch the whole thing at once. I just remember where I was and, you know. All right, so I'm going to continue on with the braid like that. But I'll add a few little hairs so that it'll look like this kind of, you know, a few little individual strands in there like that. Let's see if I can get down here. See, just a few little strands like that. Not too many, just a couple. And you might have to blend those in too. Okay, you might have to blend those out too. But that's how you do that braid. And it's because of the white. It's because of the white. Here, let me show you over here. This will be a good one. Whoops. That I went over with the orange. That you're able to get those highlights like that. Okay? So there, more can be done with their hair. Again, you can go in here with more, you know, some really nice dark areas under some of those, like that. And what I will want to do too is I'm going to want to have a few floating off like this. Now it's probably going to be best if I do it with the Posca first because I'm going to want to go right across everything. Okay? Now I'm not going to leave them white, but I'm going to want a few hairs kind of floating off like this, right? And I'm not going to go crazy with it, just a few. Whoops. But what I'll do is, again, I'm not going to leave these white. I'll go back over them with orange all the way to the tip. Okay? But it looks like she has a few like loose hairs. Like that. It just gives it a little more oomph. If she has a few loose hairs. That's a little too loose. Okay? So now if this dries in a second, I'll go over it with orange so you can see. Right? You know, you could do the same for a few little curls coming out, individual ones. Like this. Couple ones here and there. Just some loose ones. Again, I'm not going to leave these white. They're going to be orange. Okay, they're going to be orange. And I'm just showing, I don't want to do this yet because I'm not done over here. But I'll do these right now, and then in a second, I'll let this dry. Oh, I got to get that little braid in there. She has a tiny braid in here too. She has a mini braid. I don't want to lose that little mini braid. That's too cute. That little mini braid in there. All right, let me highlight that with white because then I can go over it with orange. So if you need extra brightness somewhere, don't leave it white unless it's supposed to be white, like say on water or something. But if you want her hair to be orange, don't leave that white. It will just look like there's paint in her hair. So I'm going to let that dry for a second, and then I'm going to go over all these strands here with orange. And you got to kind of, you know, it's better if you go a little slow so you make them thick enough to show. I don't know if I made them thick enough to show. Okay. With me? All right, let's see if I can do a little bit on the pants, because we literally have just 2 minutes, okay? I probably won't have time to do this. But what I want to do is I want gold and purple, and it's probably best if I try to do it with the gel pen. Where's the purple? Purple and gold gel pen is probably going to be the easiest way. But I want to leave some areas. Let's see how I can best do this. Maybe, all right, let me just, we're probably going to run out. Okay, time is up. Hang on. I'm still streaming. Let me call you back. Okay, so, and yeah, hang on. Okay, guys, my time ran out. I can stay here with you guys that are in chat, but my time is up. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'll post a picture. I'm going to do the pants in gold and purple, but we're out of time. So I hope y'all got a lot out of this. And the white hairs are going to go over with orange, but we're out of time. Well, yeah, I don't have time to do another segment, guys. Oh, okay, hang on. They have it in the kids section. I don't know why they put the Mary Englebright color book in the kids section when they have all these awesome color books. I'm going to have to get the smaller brush out again. Out front in you know, stack outs or whatever you call them, you know. She looks like she was abandoned by her pirate friends. Maybe. I know it's fun. Uh-oh. Okay, I just picked up some blue accidentally. I got a blue blob right there. Now, I think I'm going to let that dry and pick that blob off, because if I try to, I'm just going to smear it if I do. Or it might just be another tattoo, because, you know, she does have that tattoo right there. But I flicked some paint up on here accidentally. All right, so let me get back in here. And I do want to show you how using paint as a base, how that is beneficial when you have Prismacolor over the top, or any color pencil. It doesn't have to just be Prismacolor. That's just, you know, what I use for the most part. Although I did show you all my pencils this morning on the other episode. This is episode 3 for Monday. I try to divide them up. I mean, I don't necessarily like to make long videos just to be making long videos, but I'll divide them up by topic or something, like we did our Happy Mail. We did the little paperclip project. Okay, so there we go. I think I got all that. But I want to see how it looks modeled like. So I just saw the new book. Does Dee Dee know that? yeah. Sherry posted it too on Twitter. Sherry Pink. Sherry Pink posted it too. But Mom had already alerted me, and I had seen it in the store. And for those of you color book people that like comics as well, let me show you this real quick. Let me go to my pictures. It's going to flash the camera out for just a minute, but I'll show it to you. Oh, and yes, there's my, here's my Walking Dead, where they're filming. They always put up these barriers, and they block off the street where Walking Dead is filming 3 miles from my house. well, actually, they have more than one place where they film, but the one of the places they film is like right down the street from my house. Okay, let me go over here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so these are some of the new color books out. I have the Deadpool one. Here's the Deadpool one. Oh, hang on. Here's the Deadpool one, and I know it's going to flash out. Let me see if I can get it back. Hang on. There's the Deadpool one. I have that one. But look, they also have Batman. They also have this Batman. Hang on, let me try to get it to focus again. And for the Walking Dead fans, they have a Walking Dead color book. Now, personally, I don't think I'd be wanting to color this. Let me get it to come back again. And it is flashing out, guys. It's like a yellow background there. Because I just took a picture. See, it's in the rack. I took a picture of it in the bookstore. So they have the Walking Dead color book. So, yeah. So if you're a comic book fan, there you go. Okay, there we go. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee. I'm really zoomed in. Hopefully, I won't flash out too much. It gives me a nice tan when I'm not flashed out like this. But, yeah. So we're going to color in the Jasmine Beckett Griffith book again. We're going to color this pirate girl. We're going to make her redhead, green eyes. So there's our pirate girl. Actually, I could almost zoom in. Well, I might zoom in a little bit more when we get down to the details. We're going to do the overall first, and then maybe I'll zoom in some more. So the other two ones that we've done in this book so far have been this girl, our little green fairy girl. Oh, they'll have to pry the phone out of my dead hand, Eileen. I'll turn it off. I will turn it off. But I mean, I'm saying this is in the waiting room, Eileen. In the waiting room, we might be able to do, I might be able to do something, so we'll see. Okay. Then here's our little mermaid girl. And again, I gave her braids. She did not have braided hair. She had just flat hair, but I gave her some braids. And then we put stickles on her to make her glitter. So she's glittery. I can't wait to see how I do it either, Silver Screen, because I have no plan. This is all on the fly. And then we just use paint and some color pencil to do the waves. Painted the background black, and we painted in our own clouds. I say we, because if you're here with me, it's we. It's we people. Then I won't take my phone in. I'll leave it in the car. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think they took them last time, Eileen. I don't think they took our phones. I think they just said to turn them off. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so there we go. Those are the two that we've done. So let me go back to the pirate girl here. And I think I'm going to do a day sky, but I'm going to do clouds. So as you can see, it's got clouds all sketched in. But I could paint around those. Okay, but I'll tell you, it's going to be easier just to paint the whole sky blue and then put in your own clouds, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. And then same thing, then this is water and then sand. She's like on the beach. So I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm guessing. I try not to go look at Jasmine's paintings because I don't want to be influenced by them. I don't want to be influenced by her paintings, her color choices and all that, because I want to make them up myself. And I don't want to just copy her paintings, which, if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. She's got a few samples here, that starters on the back. Some with red eyes, yellow skin, white skin. You can see how she paints her girls. But I don't want to try to duplicate her paintings. I want to try to color them our own way. Because you know what? We're the boss of our color books. Oh, yeah, I know, Eileen. So, all right, so let me go ahead and I think, let me just get some paint out first. Oh, I got paper clips all over here. I didn't pick up all the paper clips from our last general line across where the line is, but I don't really worry about it being inside the line. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let me go ahead and just kind of put both colors of blue, because I'm gonna put white fluffy clouds, right? So I just want a couple shades of blue. So I'm using the baby blue and the uniform blue. If you have any questions, put them in caps. I know, Terry, you would. Okay, so her hair's coming this way. I'm going to have to get a smaller brush in some of these right along her face. So you can see I'm not doing it, I'm doing it kind of, what do you call it, marbly looking. I mean, it's not a flat color because I want it to be like that. I want it to look like that. And it's not watered down, it's just straight out of the jar. Mottled. Yeah, thanks, Flint Rock. Yeah, kind of mottled with the T. Mottled. All right, so there we go. I'll put some white on there in a minute. All right, now I'm just going to paint the water back here. And I'm going to get in a couple little tight areas here with a smaller brush. Just getting the bulk of the paint on. Then I'll go in there with a smaller brush. And you don't have to do this with paint. You could do it with pencil, but the thing I like about doing acrylic paint on color book pages is it gives it tooth, and light colors will show up. I know I've shown this before. I'm going to show it again with this dark blue. It'll be a good example. Okay. Let me finish painting in the water here. About why paint is good as a base if you're going to do color pencil. Now, I don't do I don't do paint on the skin. I mean, you can. You could paint her skin a color and then work on top of it. I just prefer just to do just color pencil on the skin. But everything else is, fair game as far as I'm concerned with paint. Okay, I'm going to have to get a smaller brush because I don't want to get on her blue on her arm here. I mean, I could cover it up, but it'll be a lot easier if I don't have to. And there's blue right there, so it kind of comes behind her like that. I'm going to get a smaller brush. I'm not overly careful because you can pretty much fix anything, but okay, ladies. Okay, I'll look for you, LBO, after the show. Did you follow me? Maybe that was all the twittering I heard you earlier. And we'll zoom in when I start shading with colored pencil. I just kind of want it far enough back at the start so you can see the whole picture. Okay, a little bit down here. And in the tiny, tight areas, it is better to try to find a dark blue pencil rather than trying to get, like, say, between fingers or something like that. If you're not used to painting with a small brush, it's probably best if you do use a color pencil that coordinates. Hey, Crocker 2. Okay. Now let me quickly paint. Let me clean the brush out. And do the sand. Take a sip of coffee. That girl looks like she means business. Yes, she does. Okay. And again, there's some little sand lines there. Maybe I'll put a couple shades. Let me put another shade of, I put some fawn, and let me put just a touch of Mississippi mud. A couple shades of, sand color. Kind of like I did the sky, but I'm going to do it the same thing with the but it is a fun color book. I really enjoy it. And I also want to work some more in the look fashion book again soon too. I like them all. And for those of y'all that don't know, Mary Englebright has a new book out too. Mom got it. Has a purple cover on it. I did not buy it. The Mary Englebright book that I have seems, the Mary Englebright color book seems to have more detailed type pictures than the newer one that came out. So I guess it just depends on what you like to color. But I did not get the new one, although Mom did, because she'll buy anything Mary Englebright in a heartbeat. But it has a purple cover. The first book has a red cover, and the new one, which is out in the bookstore, I saw it at my Books A Million, has a purple cover. But I gotta say this, if you go to your bookstore and look for it, it's just paperclip deco. Oh, let me put these away. All right. So, here's the box I was looking for. So we're going to go ahead, and I think I'll use a pretty light blue for the sky. Let's just go with a baby blue, just a baby blue sky. Do you do freckles? Yeah, I've done freckles on some of them. I've only done 2 in this book. I haven't done freckles on them. If you want me to do freckles, let me make a note. Are you sitting over there next to Terry Trouble Silver Screen? Silver Screen wants freckles. Okay. So I'm going to just do a baby blue sky, I think, with white clouds. I don't know if the white clouds, maybe I need to do them. Let me add just a little bit of uniform blue, a little bit of kind of a gray blue, and I'll kind of blend those two in the sky. Have a couple of shades of blue in the sky, and then we'll do the white clouds. So let me put some white paint out so you can see. It's just on my palettes are coffee lids. Yes, they are cute. I do put them on some things. I actually do. Okay, then we're going to do the sand color. Sand here. Let's go with just like, this is called fawn. I'm just base coating right now, right? We'll add other details on there too. Let's put out a little bit of fawn. I'm just going to work on the background first. And then the water, I don't really want it to I don't want it to clash with, in other words, I don't want it turquoise. Do I want it just dark blue? I usually do turquoise water. I want to do something different. I'm not sure if I want to use primary blue or ultramarine. Ultramarine might be a little better. Let's see. Let me test that out. Do I want ultramarine or would I rather have Prussian blue? Prussian blue might be better. Let's see. I'm just going to put out a little test of each one of those blues. And let's see which one I like better. Notes from last week. All right, let me get a brush. Get my ink out here. All right. Let me see which blue I want to use for the water. I think I'm liking that blue best for the water. Because the light blue, the other's going to be too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Prussian blue. Okay. Okay. Green blue. Yeah, I usually use green blue or teal blue, like I did over on this one. So I want it different, and I don't want a black sky this time. I want a light blue sky. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up both of the colors, and I'm just going to try to get. I'm covering up all these clouds too, because I'm going to put in my own clouds. And I don't mind going off the edge a little bit, because when I photograph it, it's going to be off the edge anyway. So I just kind of make